Okay, so we talk about the truth here. Raise your hand if you've gone through PPS through the Flip with Rick training. Be honest, because this is, okay, it's being fair. So, you guys, you have to prepare for battle. If you're doing wholesaling, I promise you, if you stay in this game long enough, you're going to run into somebody in a probate situation. And if you don't know what to do, it's going to cost you a lot of money. I originally did probates completely by accident. And I remember sitting down with my accountant. He goes, you got to do more deals like this. So I was doing like 25 grand, which was a big deal, 15 years ago. He goes, you need to do more just like that. I go, well, how the hell do I do that? And that's how I came in and found out about probates. And the better I got and the more I understood the process, I had to figure out how to get the leads and how to market to them. And then I had to figure out how to have a conversation. And it was one hell of a ride. And once I mastered it, my absolute favorite way. So if you haven't, we're going to go through this part. If you guys have been through my PPS training, don't fall asleep because this one's going to be interactive. So you get out of it what you put into it. If you want to learn, we're going to do a much more advanced training today because you guys are here. And so if you really want to learn, take notes and participate. If you don't have the answer, it's okay. That's how you learn. It's okay to fail. Stop trying to be perfect. Stop trying to get everything right because that's not how life works. So what I would like to do is, who's actively doing probates here right now? Okay. Who wants to really learn how to do probates and you're not into it before? Okay. So I need 4 volunteers here. So here's what we're going to do. Who wants to come up? And I said this is a learning process. Let's take her. Not you, Corey. Take this gentleman. I'm going to take him right there and you right there. Come on up. So guys, this is, no one will bite you. Just come up right over here. Now, here's how we're going to break this down because I don't have a lot of time. We're going to break down in 4 sections. The first one, I'm going to teach you about the playbook of probates. If somebody walked me through this visualization, it would save me 8 months of pain, probably 2 years of pain. The second part, we're going to talk about solutions, very advanced solutions that you can offer anybody in probates. We call it the USP, the unique selling propositions. You guys, we talked about it in our breakout groups today. I got so many people chasing down probates. How do you stand out? If you don't know how to do it, you're not going to stand out and you have to make the highest offer. And you know I don't play that game. So we're going to talk about the solutions and we're going to talk about the marketing cycle. One of the biggest questions, this is honestly the easiest part in my opinion. And then the best part is the conversation. If you're willing to come up and have a conversation with me, I'll show you how they all go down. They're actually very simple. You just got to get to the right people. So if you're okay with that, what we're going to do is we're going to do a little exercise here. So turn name tags around so we know who everybody is because I am not my son memorizing. I got Trevor, I got Dylan, I've got Desiree, and I've got Alex. Okay. Any of you guys done a probate before? Yes or no? Perfect. Who knows nothing about probates? And that's perfectly fine. I'm okay with it because this is going to be a great exercise. You know a little bit about it? A little bit?
From what you've taught me.
Yeah. Okay, Desiree, she'll be our expert. So here's what we're going to do. Hold on. So when I say live, I literally mean live. So here's what we're going to do. Everyone's going to take a title. It's just random. You grab that one. You grab that one. And hold them up, okay? You all agree these are the 4 major players in probate. If you don't understand the role of each one of these, you can't do probates because they all have a different role and you have to master it because I got stopped on each one of these and I lost multiple deals, hundreds of thousands of dollars because I didn't understand. So the next thing, I need someone who has 0 probate experience and I'm okay with it. Because this is going to be exercise. Come on up. So, you're perfect because he's a Miami Dolphins fan, so we can work together. So, don't hold it against me. Now, what we have to do is, you guys, I enjoy football, and to me, it's kind of the easiest thing to break down. So, we're going to do a playbook. So, if you had to identify who's the referee, go ahead.
Oh my God.
Who's the referee? It's okay, because this is a learning process. If you get it wrong, you'll never get it wrong again. So if you had to guess, and I want you guys to mentally, do not scream out the answer, who's going to be the referee, and put it to the person. There you go. Okay, have a seat. We'll move on. Another volunteer, no probate experience. Come on up. Let's go. So listen, if you don't speak football, I promise you I'll translate it. My wife doesn't. Who's the linebacker? Who's playing defense? Don't think about it, just do it and hand it to them.
Wait, no.
No, listen, you pick whichever one you want. If you want to go duplicate, you can go duplicate. Okay, awesome. Another person with little to no experience in probates. Come up, Achilles. Who's the coach? Who's coaching? And I need one more volunteer, little to no experience. Come on up. Find it. Who's the quarterback in this? Okay. So let's start with the first one. Who agrees the wholesaler is the coach in this playbook? Show of hands. Okay. So those of you who didn't raise your hand, give me your theory on who's the coach. Anybody? Who's that? Title company. Who? Okay. We'll get back to that one. Who thinks the PR, that's the personal representative or the executive, depending what state on you? Who thinks the PR is the quarterback? Raise your hand. Okay. If you don't agree with it, who do you think the quarterback is? Just shout it out. Good one. Okay. And the title company got screwed here. The probate lawyer. Who agrees with which? And share your philosophy with it. Anybody?
The lawyer should be the linebacker because he's always C-blocking.
Okay, who thinks the probate is the linebacker? The probate lawyer. Okay, and who thinks they're the referee? This is why I do this, because we're all confused on who's what. If you don't know the playbook, you can't win the game. And who the hell is the title company if somebody had to pick one of these titles?
Referee.
Okay. We got it. So, let me ask you guys, what's your opinion? Do you think the title company is a referee?
Yeah.
Do you think the probate lawyer is the linebacker?
I'd say so.
The PR is the QB? No. Where does it belong?
PR, I think the linebacker is PR.
Okay. And what about the wholesaler or the coach? Okay. So, let me show you this, and I'm going to walk you through this. It's important you understand this. Because if you don't get this part right, you don't know who to chase down. So Desiree's working on an active deal, so she better get this real quick. This order right here is correct, and I'll walk you through the philosophy of it, okay? I got to come back over here. I'm going to come back to that one. So the probate playbook. You're the wholesaler. Listen, who runs the game, the quarterback or the coach at the end of the day? So who should, well, unless you're Tom Brady, I get it, okay? That's the exception, not the rule. But like the coach calls everything. The coach is the brilliant mind. They are the orchestrator. They are the coach. You have to be the coach of the wholesaler. There's no other way in this playbook. Because quarterbacks get egos, they kind of run their own way, and you've got to kind of pump them up and do that. So it makes sense that PR is the quarterback. Why is that? Because they're really in control of the probate when you get down to it. Let me ask you, who hires the lawyer? And sometimes the coach leads the direction on which lawyer to go with. They have the most influence. So the PR is, I got to stop reaching over here. They are the quarterback. They are the offense. And that is the person that the wholesaler has to coach. These two have the most influence in the transaction. Now we're going to run a little bit on the other side on it. You guys, you all know about the probate lawyer, right? They are essentially your middle linebacker. They will run defense on any time. So when you decide to go straight to the lawyer like I first did, I got nowhere. Actually, as soon as I got to the lawyer, they just stood in front of the PR and go, you got to go through me. There's nowhere else you go. You have to go through me. Once you understand that process, you don't avoid the lawyer at all costs, but you don't go through them as the gatekeeper. And if you do that, it is very, very painful. I learned this lesson the hard way. I think I lost about a dozen deals trying to go through the lawyer. So do you go through the lawyer? There you go. Why? They play defense, right? Absolutely. Everything has to go through me. The real estate agent, everything. And you just drive yourself nuts. So the last one is, this one gets a little bit more complicated. The title company. Do you believe they are the referee in this? Yes. Okay. So let's pretend you're playing in Kansas City and Patrick Mahomes is your quarterback. I apologize for the football analogy. Listen, can referees be on one side or the other? Can they? Let's be honest. Okay? They are what we call a biased referee. Okay? This is the playbook right here, guys. You have to go direct to the PR. Anything else, you're wasting your time. I have years of data to prove this. I've done it over and over. If you can't get this visual thing in your head, you are going to struggle in probates. Okay? Does everybody have a mental image burnt in their head on how this playbook works? Everybody. Any questions on the playbook? Are you guys clear on it? Okay, so quick quiz.
I have a question.
Yes.
Sorry. So, and this is maybe not directly on the playbook, but like if we're dealing with the PR directly and their lawyers ingrained in their head that they should not make any decision without them, like how do we overcome that?
And it's a great question. We're going to talk about the conversation because that's the part of it. So we never discredit the lawyer. We don't discredit realtors because when you start talking bad about people, which unfortunately I learned in my 30s, it gets you nowhere in this business. You have to provide solutions and stop putting your head. Give them a round of applause. You guys can take the paper back, throw it away, whatever you want. I appreciate it. Guys, this is it. So you got to understand on this process, I call it the straight line method. Now, Jordan Belfort came out with this, but you have got to go directly to the PR. Everyone goes, it's so professional, I'll go to the lawyer. You're not. The lawyer is there they want to protect their client. Now, I'm not going to get a debate and trash lawyers here, but a lot of the information they tell is very, very wrong. So when you go through if you go through the lawyer, you're going to wind up with a real estate agent. It's going to be someone they prefer. They usually get a kickback. You have to go through, they want to go through an appraisal process. Most states do not require this, but they tell you, hey, we need to know what the value of it is. A lot of these properties need a lot more than an appraisal. They need help. Guys, when people are in probate, I want you to understand this. Have you ever take care of a loved ones in the final days of their life in their house? Where do they want to be? They want to be in their home. Nobody wants to sit in the hospital unless you have to. And what's the family's job? I've been through this 2 times, unfortunately. You take care of the family member. Screw the house, right? Like before my mom did, we rolled out carpet. We did everything. We handicapped the bathroom. We didn't care. We didn't worry about the landscaping. We didn't worry about painting the house. The house looked like crap when she died. That's just the bottom line. I'm okay with it. And when I was done, I was done. I sold my mother's house to a wholesaler. Why? I couldn't deal with it. It was too hard. It took me a year to do it, and we figured it out. And this is recent, but like if I experience this and I teach you guys how to probate, this is what people do. Now, I want you to understand also, probate lawyers, nosy neighbors, I put in this position of like middle linebacker, everything like that. You got to know who's on offense and defense because sometimes you guys are talking to the wrong players and they're going to handle you appropriately. Now, the title company, they are biased. I don't care what you say. Whichever title company you pick will help you quarterback. And as A said earlier, your relationship with your title company is absolutely everything. I would have never figured out probates without my title company. Okay? You have to understand this process. Is there any questions on the playbook? By the way, a lot of people ask me about the heirs. I tried this for a long time. Literal waste of your time. The heirs, think about this. If you're named in the will as the PR, that means you're what? What does that mean if you're named in the will?
Trustee.
Trustee. And then what's that mean? What kind of designation or authority does that give you?
You have to take care of everything.
And why do you think you got picked at over Uncle Joe? Because Uncle Joe goes out and parties every night and he spends his money and he's probably going to smoke through mom's assets, and you are the trusted person. And you have demonstrated your entire life, Joe's never going to step up to the plate, and Joe just wants to know when he's getting his money. And Joe's going to bug you and you say, Joe, you sit over there, I'll let you know when it's all done.
Yeah, I went through that.
Correct. So the problem is, I tried marketing the heirs for 2 years, thinking I was slick, I could get around, find the PRs I couldn't find. Dude, the amount of drama I endured was endless. Don't do it. You can occasionally do some investigative skip tracing on the heirs, but for the most part, they just want their money. They have no decision-making ability, and I find them difficult. So when I first tried this, I marketed to everybody, and I found out it was wasting my time. Any last questions on the playbook?
So, Rick, are there certain title companies that specialize in handling probate?
Most title companies have to be familiar with probate because it is an eventuality in all real estate. I like to find ones that are more experienced and work with investors, because I'm not going through the basics of probates right now. You guys know why I like probates. If you've never even done a deal, if you understand the probate process, you can hit a monster deal. And if you don't even have a cash buyer's list, what's one of the benefits that probate does for you as a wholesaler? Say you have no experience, no cash buyer's list, what's the advantage? Vacant, needs a lot of work, it's not going to go on the MLS, and time is your friend. I can make a probate go in 45 days, or I can drag it out 6 months. Some of you guys need the time. You can make a probate turn into a wholesale deal without ever funding it. You can control the process, but how do you control the process? You're the coach. Who are you coaching to control that process on the back end? Title company. Now, I don't want them to lie to them, but you can speed up a probate or slow it down however you like, period. Once you have the property under contract, you have as much authority and control, in my opinion, as the lawyer and the PR, period. You are a party to this contract. You guys realize the PR is basically the seller of the property. There's a reason for this process. Dead people can't sign deeds over, period, end of story. The process makes sense. This is why they do it. Any questions on it?
We've sent out letters before that, like it was an agent that got back to us or responded. At that point, is it just a walk-away situation?
You got to work with the PR, because unless they have a direct connection with the PR, but we'll go over it a little bit in the marketing and the conversation. Let's keep moving. I got lots to go through for you on here, okay? So, here's the thing with probates. You don't need to understand everything. I keep telling you that I still don't understand 100% of the legal process. I don't want to, because that would require me to get a law license and study it and go to law school, and I don't want to do that. So if you have the passion to it, go for it. You can show us all a little bit how to do it. So here's the difference is your team does. So if you know the offense, the defense, and the referees, the title companies, I'm going to let you in a little secret, they know 90% of the process of how it goes. End of story. Title companies are the ones that shared a lot of these secrets to me before I even got to the probate lawyers or the probate judges to figure out how this goes down. So a lot of you are like, do I have to interview a lawyer or anything like that? No, you don't. You just talk to your title companies. Why? Because they go through hundreds, if not thousands, of iterations of these types of contracts. And they go, hey, Rick, why don't you just have the lawyer file this type of motion? I go, show it to me. And they go, yeah, I'll show you how to do it. And title companies, if you bring them the deal, they'll be very loyal to you. I already said they're the most critical. So we talked about what's the realtor's role in a probate. Nathan walked out, but I'll hit him up on it. Honestly, there's not much. So I'm always looking for properties before they get listed with a realtor. Every now and then when they're listed with a realtor, you do have a shot if you have a relationship with that realtor. But for the most part, you want to catch them beforehand. Realtors most likely just want to get a deal done. Most realtors think probate takes an arm and a leg, and you cannot sell it till the process of probate is complete. If you want to educate them on that process, that is your opportunity to work with the realtor. I'm not knocking on realtors, but most of them go, you can't do that. There's no way. I got 236 files that tell me otherwise. Would you like to go through them with me? They won't go through them with you. I've already tried. Every now and then I get one, but I do. Next thing, guys, you got to use your state-approved contracts for these. It's not that I want to give you busy paperwork and do all this stuff. The problem is I love my 2-page contract because it's clear, concise, and sellers love it. Lawyers hate it, and eventually half your contracts are going to have to pass the snuff test of a lawyer. And if a lawyer sees a 2-page contract, he or she thinks something's majorly wrong. How can you do an entire deal in 2 pages? I can do it on a cocktail napkin. Like, who cares? But it has to be approved to do that. So you can do the same thing on a state-approved contract as you do our contracts. You just got to check the right boxes, that's all. They're fully assignable. You can do inspection periods. You can add addendums. They're just longer. So the state of Florida, a full-blown contract, I believe is 21, 23 pages now. It's ridiculous. I use a 10 to 13 page one that's like 8 years old. Every year they add like another page on it because something else happens, some crap comes up, like novations and stuff like that. So use your state-approved contracts because more than half your contracts are going to have to go through a lawyer. And if they see a normal contract and it checks the box, they just, it looks good, move on. The 2-page contract, they're going to call the PR and go, dude, don't do business with this guy, Rick. I don't like this contract that looks highly suspect, even though it's the exact price the seller wants. Remember, we talk about the seller being under the influence of the lawyer, just like they are a realtor. If you don't do this, you'll lose half your deals right off the bat. If you don't believe me, go ahead and try it. Lawyers freak out. They don't like the clarity of a 1.5-page contract. It's just too clear. It's too easy, and we don't want to do that. So we talk about the probate lawyer. To be honest with you, until you do a bunch of deals, here's how I connected with probate lawyers. Anytime I had a probate, I showed up to meet the lawyer at the closing table. Now, I'm not a big fan of going to real estate closings. Bad things happen when you show up. But the probate lawyer goes, man, you keep showing up. He goes, man, you're for real. So those of you guys, I'm going to market probate lawyers. Dude, I've tried that for a year. I got to maybe 1, and I never got a deal from them. Here's how you market probate lawyers. You show up, you find probate deals, and they go, dude, this guy's for real. This chick, she knows how to do it. And they go, hey, listen, if I get a probate deal that's like really junky, will you just buy it real quick and like make my life easy? They have some other conditions they'll tell you about afterwards because they want all sorts of fees, but just pay it. Who cares? If you can get a deal with no work, but this is how you get credibility with a lawyer. You do not sit. If you guys ever anybody cold call a lawyer here? One of the most painful things you can possibly do. You will never get to them. You'll never get your call back. Now, I'll let you in a little secret. When we go, they go, listen, I want my lawyer to approve the contract. Don't fight it. I fought it in the beginning. Don't fight it. I'm going to teach you a little technique right now. This is worth its weight in gold. You anchor your sellers on your terms. So if you're buying a house for $200,000 and they want to run it by their lawyer, don't go absolutely not. You'll kill your deal. I'd rather you move forward with a state-approved contract. You say, Mrs. Smith, $200,000. We're going to try to close it within 90 days, but we might have to extend it a little longer depending on the probate process. And you're okay with my $500 deposit. And I just want to make sure you're okay with the deposit and the sell. So $200,000, okay. So we'll have your lawyer just check out the legal jumbo mumbo. I speak just like that because I don't know half the stuff in there. I go, you're good. So if your lawyer says $200,000 not a good price, we're good. Like she goes, no, I'm going to tell them that's the price I want. You're preconditioning the PR before it gets to the lawyer. If you don't, the lawyer's going to go, 200 grand, no way. Absolutely not. And here's what the seller says. Let me ask you, who's in control? The PR or the probate? Technically, who's in control? The PR, because they hire the probate lawyer. So when the PR goes, no, I'm fine with the $200,000. Mr. Rick told me that was the price. He goes, this $500 deposit, like you really? He goes, no. He says he's going to fund the rest. It's not a problem. It's just to get the escrow open and filed. What's he going to say? he looks like an idiot when I've already preconditioned him. Did you guys ever see that movie 8 Mile? Great movie. I mean, it's just, you don't have to be an MMA fan, but like if you see in the final rap scene where he's going up against his competitor, and the guy goes telling, he goes, his friend goes, just tell him everything bad about you and he can't do anything. And he just, his entire rap was about what, I live in a trailer with my mom, I'm homeschooled, I'm everything. And the guy just goes, at the end, he couldn't say anything. You're doing the same thing to the lawyer, mic dropping them. Because they look like an idiot when they start fighting. Now, the key is once you have that contract executed, you have straight lined and skipped the probate lawyer. If you don't have a signed contract, you are under constant scrutiny of the lawyer. And if you understand that, that's why you know how to do it. Everybody got me so far? We'll do questions at the end, I promise. If you precondition your PRs before it gets to the lawyer, it's a piece of cake. If you don't, it's usually, they're going to go, well, let's get an appraisal. An appraisal on a probate is a kiss of death. It's over. An appraisal is full market value. It's somebody's outside opinion, and I don't want you to pay that. So if you get an appraisal, you're going to create controversy, and you don't want to do that. So let's talk about solutions. We're going to walk through some exercises here and see if you guys can problem solve. So you already guys, so I'm not going to go over the USP. Everybody knows what the USP is in priority probates, right? Anybody want to be a brave volunteer and tell me what it is? And if you don't, you can go through it. Stand up, Sebastian. Come up and tell us.
Can sell the house prior to the completion of the probate.
So how do I have that conversation with the seller? So we're talking to them, you're on the phone, they're like, hey, here's what they do. Rick, what separates you from all the other people that have called me so far? I go, well, what have they told you? Don't just fall into the trap. Expand, go deep and go, well, you know, they told me they could close quickly, they could pay all cash. I go, let me guess, no hassle, as is, the whole 9 yards. Just do the 8 Mile, the M&M. Just take it away from like, how do you know all this stuff? I go, listen, I'm here to help you. And here's simply what I do. What do you want to accomplish? If you guys will focus on what your sellers want to accomplish, you will solve problems. If you want to be a transactional person, ask them how much they want for the house. Now you're kind of in realtor world. I'm not knocking on realtors, but it's the truth. Go deep. What do you want to accomplish? And once you get that anchor amount, they go, listen, I want to sell the house. I need like a few months to get grandma's stuff out of there. I don't want an emotional roller coaster. I don't want it inspected. And can you make this process simple? I am not going to jump on a price right there. I got to tell you what, that all sounds fair. I'm pretty sure I can do that. And then I'm going to add my final USP on it and say, Ms. Smith, I want to work with you. It sounds like you really just want to wrap this up. She goes, you have no idea. Unless you've been through probate, you don't understand what I'm talking about. Because a lot of these people, we look at it as properties, but what do you think these PRs look at it when their family members have passed away in it? A property is what to them?
Memories.
And memories are what?
Minor.
Your heart is where? There you go. It's a home. You guys got to start speaking to it like it's a home and stop being a property. Because this is what all your competition's doing. You're not going to nail every one of them, but you need to fully understand it. And it simply goes like this. Ms. Smith, I understand you and I hear you loud and clear. You want a painless transaction. I get all the other stuff. What did your probate lawyer tell you about the probate process? I'm mic dropping it right now. Wow, he says it's going to be 6 to 12 months. That's interesting. I go, let me ask you, are you okay with that? Because I just like to get it over with. And that's the common theme I hear in every one. I go, well, listen, what if I could show you how you could sell the property prior to the probate being over? Are you interested in talking to me? She goes, I would love that. That's what I do every time. Do I tell them over the phone, Sebastian, how to do it? No, you got to meet with me to do that. That is your USP. You have to do that. That's just basic one. We're going to go through the others. But do you understand that? And anybody tells you they can't do it, do you think lawyers tell you you can't do it? Yes or no? They say absolutely. You have to wait till the probate's complete. I have 236 case files that say otherwise. There are some unique exceptions across this country, but they're very, very minor. Does everybody understand that? Any questions on that part? That's all you need to understand. There is a legal process to do it. We can go into more detail on it, but I'm not going to do it right here. explaining how this works. Because a lot of you struggle with this part. So, we talked about that right there. So, here's the problem, guys. So, who wants to volunteer to help me solve a problem? Expensive lawyer for probate. How do I overcome that objection? Because one of the biggest objections I get is, and we get this on Driving for Dollars or when Bird Dogs give us deals, is, hey, we found this beaten up house and like it's been vacant for like a year or two. What do we do? I go, well, did you put the property through probate? They go, we can't afford it. It's just way too expensive. I go, can't you just buy it and we can skip the process? Does anybody have a creative solution to solve this? And remember, you can't fail here. You can only learn. Who wants to do it? I already know the answer. Luca. No. No. You haven't even got to a contract yet. They want to know, I go, listen, I want to sell the house, but I can't afford the lawyer, Rick. Luca, I can't afford the lawyer. What do I do? Mom passed away 2 years ago. I heard it's like 10 grand to file like, or guys, what's the average cost to do a probate in the United States? The average. No. It's $1,500 to $3,500. Now, when you have a complicated legal fight and an argument, that goes outside of probate and you have to pay per hour, $400 an hour. On the average one, on one that you only got to go to, they only got to go to the court once and file all the paperwork, it's around $1,500. That's a clean deal. It's about $700, $800 in court costs and about $1,000 for the attorney. Some of them get a little more complicated. Some lawyers will charge you 12 grand to do this exact same thing. Understand what the fees are. So if I know it's $1,500 to $3,500, what's my next question going to be to him, Luca? In this process, I don't have a contract. I got a beat up house that like, we have no money for a lawyer. We don't have 2 nickels to rub together, Mr. Ginn. What do I do? The first thing you need to know is what's the cost to take this forward, right? So let's just assume 4 grand, worst case scenario, right? What's the next critical piece of information you need from that person in that house? Mom died 2 years ago. This is the most critical piece if you understand it. Did mom have a will? Did mom have a will? Because if you have a will, we have a path to get to the end. It goes pretty quick. Without a will, it's called intestate, meaning there's no will, and then the courts are going to make the decisions based on hearings. Now, if you guys are familiar with probate, it's direct bloodlines they do. But man, some people die with some very complicated stuff. There's no immediate family. You start going to like 3rd cousins, 4th uncles, weird stuff. That all takes time and a lot of money. So if you're ever in this scenario, ask, do you have a will? If you have a will, I make a copy of the will and I go over to who? Who do I go to next with that will? Yeah, most of you guys want to go to a probate lawyer and you're going to get a $500 bill. Go, hey, listen, with this, if I enter in a contract, do you think we could file a probate and get this done? Yeah. You can't do it without the will. You're just guessing. Now, sometimes people have to dig for a will. Sometimes the will's recorded. Depends on what state and what part of the country you're in. But I'm telling you. So, next part. Say they have say that the value of the house is $100,000 today. Let's just say it's going to cost 4 grand to do all the legal paperwork. Other than Lucas, somebody give me you're the wholesaler, what's your solution in this scenario to the seller? I only know this, guys, because I've done this for 20 years. I know every outcome of these things. They always don't work out perfect. But remember, whoever provides the most value will make the most money. And honestly, you get really fulfilled helping people out like this. They have a house they don't know what to do with. It's falling apart. And you can change these people's lives. You can change your life in the process. Go ahead. Okay, so how do I do that? Say the house is $100,000 as is. It's a little bit rough. The next thing you have to establish is who's living in the house. And are you willing to leave the house? If they're not willing to leave the house, you can't waste your time. Sometimes they're burrowed in there, they're never going to leave. I'm not here to make people leave a house. So we check for a will. We check for tenancy. Like, if you get us paid, we get the hell out of here right away. Okay, great. In order for me to do that, who wants to take the next part of this? So now you have a will. They're willing to move. You know the cost. How do we structure an offer on this deal? Just say it's worth 100 as is. I'm doing easy math here. It's going to cost you 4 grand. How do I put it together? How do I pitch them to it? Who wants to come up and pitch it? It's just, guys, don't overthink this. Remember, if you're just transparent and you're authentic with people and you know how to do it, you can learn how to do it.
Ask them what they want.
They're like, listen, like anything we could get would be wonderful. Now, I want you guys to learn from Ace, and hopefully I had a little bit of influence on him. When you deal with people that give you amazing deals on properties, take it. Don't beat them up that last 5, 10 grand. It's embarrassing. You risk losing the whole deal, and pigs get slaughtered. You know how that saying goes. I don't know how it goes, but like when someone goes, I'll take 90, go, hesitate a little bit. Don't go, yeah. Just go, yeah. Just go, I want you always guys to understand this. When you negotiate with people, you have to get something in exchange. Otherwise, you're not negotiating. If you go, yeah, and they're like, why is this cat just agreeing to everything I'm saying? What the hell's going on here? You got to have a little bit of resistance, a little play, because it's human psychology. And here's what I do. On a 90 grand, they go like that. I go, I tell you what, Ms. Smith, that sounds like a fair offer. That's about what I can pay. I tell you what, if you can sign the deal today, I can accept that offer. And you hand the pen. That's it. You can't just go, yeah. You've got to get something in exchange. When somebody asks for you something in any type of real estate transaction, get something in exchange. You guys understand that? If you just roll over, you're an order taker. You're transactional. It's a great deal. And remember, that's what they wanted. Give people what they want. Remember, I told you, this is not a sales job. It's just qualifying. Ace, do you sell in this as a wholesaler? Do you believe you're a salesman? No, you're not. I'm telling you guys, I got 21 years experience. You are not salesman. I've been a salesman for a company. It's completely different. You're selling something you believe. If you believe in yourself and you believe you can help people out, you can solve anything in wholesaling. So, we have a cost on it. The house is worth 100 grand. Who wants to take a stab at this? We're all learning. You are not going to make a mistake. You just got to figure out how to do this, because most of you are going to be put on the spot on this. Because when you walk away, a guy like me or Zach or Luca or Ace are going to come in and we're going to suck this deal up right behind you, because we know exactly what to do. You can't do this wrong. It's just a math problem. Who wants to do a math problem?
96.
No, you're not making any money at 96. You're just covering costs. I'm still going to use a go for no, and I'm going to say, listen, what if we could go ahead and write up a contract? I'm going to set the terms before I do the price on this. I'm going to do it backwards. What if we can write up a contract and I can find a way to fund the lawyer for you in the deal, and then when the deal closes, you can pay us back with it? Is that a solution you're even open to, or you guys just want to pay the lawyer on your own? I can't pay the lawyer. You crazy? You go, yeah, it's great. Well, what does that mean for this? They go, well, how much will I get? It goes, well, it's me, my sister, and my brother. There's 3 of us. Here's what they all say. How much will we get in this process? Once again, a math problem. Break it down. So if it's 100 grand, you know the cost of it is 100. So 104 is basically going to be the rough number you got to get out the door with it. Plus, you got to figure out what you want to make. And then whenever you have multiple people, they want to know, what am I going to get? What if I could get you each? What if I could get the lawyer taken care of, take the stress on it, and each one of you get like 20 grand? Hell, we weren't getting a damn thing before. That sounds great. I'm asking them what they want. I will ask them what they want to get for it, but sometimes in probate, that's a loaded question. So sometimes you can break it down. And I was to one person, I go, listen, because the reality is they really wanted the money. They would already hired the lawyer and got it done. And sometimes, what do I always say? What's the number one thing you have to do when you meet with sellers? You guys hear me all the time. What do you have to do? What do you have to help sellers do? Get out of their own way. You are broke. I want to help you. Let me throw you a lifeline. Nobody. Do you think a realtor is going to make them this offer? Absolutely not. Is there risk? There's absolutely risk. Now the backside, you're like, Rick, this is nuts. I'm not paying $4 grand a lawyer. No, I don't want you to do it. You're going to find a lawyer through your title company you work with. And here's how I did it with lawyers. I'll pay the court cost up front. Guys, if I can make $40,000, $50,000, I will take a risk on $800 all day long. Long as I have a 75% probability of making my money back. Those are numbers you all would go to Vegas on, right? So when I do that, I cut a deal. I usually find a younger lawyer. They'll do it. The older ones will never do this. I've tried it. But you've got to be willing to compensate them more in the end. So instead of getting them $4,000, maybe you give them $6,000 or $7,000. Do you understand that? Remember, they are fine. Like either you can finance it. If you got the money, go for it. I personally finance them. I don't care, and I get the best rate. But when I didn't have any money, I'd cut a deal with a lawyer. I got abused when I first did this. I think I got $10,000 on the first one I did. I didn't care. I was still making $40,000, $50,000 on these deals. So you can fund it with the lawyer and get the help. Someone has to pay the court cost. The lawyer will never, they will never go that far. Are you taking a risk? You are. But here's your risk. I don't do anything till I have a signed contract. End of story. You have to have a signed, executed contract. Now I know you're saying, how can they sign it? They're not the PR yet. Have them sign it. It validates them mentally, and then you take the paperwork to the title company. You find a reputable probate lawyer, and you get the thing started. Do you care if it takes you 90 days or 7 months? Do you really care if you're making $50,000 on a deal? Who cares? You understand, guys? You got to open up your mind in this process. Prepaid lawyer agreement. Signed purchase and sales agreement in advance of the probate. These are what I call pre-probate. They work really well. They are the best deals you can do. Any of you guys doing driving for dollars, use deal machine apps, stuff like this, this is my #1 way to do it. They all think the lawyer's $10,000. It's not. Now, if they don't have a will, take it to your title company and ask their opinion. And you got to be careful because these can get expensive if you have to do court hearings, depositions, and announcements and stuff like that. Anybody ever thought about doing estate sale assistance? Guys, this is when people, every probate we buy, Zach can contest that, they're just full of crap. They're full of furniture, they're the garage. If you can find like an estate sale person to help you out with it, it is phenomenal. Be careful because some of these people are sharks. But estate sale companies, I used to go in my newspaper, find all the people. These people constantly did estate sales on people that were in probate and need to sell their house. The key is you can market to estate salespeople. Now, I used to try to make profit off it. I don't waste my time on it. There's no money in that. I'm just going to tell you right now. Garage sales, that's part of the estate sale process. Realtor referral agreement. Sometimes they do want top dollar. That's fine. Make sure you're connected with a local realtor in your market to help them out and get a referral fee. How much should you expect as a referral fee when you give someone a listing? What do you guys think the number is? I love this. Okay. So the norm's 20 to 25% in most markets. I was crazy. I always ask for half. And they're like, are you crazy? I always ask for 35%. And I'll settle at 25. As long as you're doing everything, I don't care. Make them sign a referral agreement with you, though. You get a marketing fee. It's perfectly legal. You understand that? If you have a realtor's license, this is where you can really take advantage of it. Creative financing. I'm not going to go deep on this. Guys, if you find people in probate and they're taking care of the final affairs and there's a mortgage on it, I just did one with Jason, I'm partner up with. He's not here today, but let me ask you this. What is the risk of taking over mortgage subject to in a probate property? Is there any risk to the PR? So let me ask you, if I take over the mortgage and the person's deceased, and say I give the PR some money, I still go through the probate process, what is the risk if I default on that loan? What's that?
There's no risk for that.
What's the risk to the PR? That's all they want to know. Well, what happens, and a normal subject to, this is a hard one to get over. They go, well, Mr. Gim, what happens if you don't make the payments? I go, I guess I screw myself. The bank gets the house back, and you get to walk away scotch-free. Does that sound good to you? They like it because it's even faster. Some of you guys go out there and get hard money. We just took over a house with a $250,000 loan. They bought it, her son bought it a year ago. He passed away. They've got a $1,500 mortgage payment. It runs for $1,800. Her only agreement was, can you let his girlfriend stay there for 3 months? I went through a three-way call with Jason. I go, absolutely. It's going to cost us about $6,000. Where else can I buy a $300,000 house for $6,000 down, no money? And it's in perfect shape. If they're in perfect shape, it's a lot of fun. Now, you can take that, even if you have a messed up house, you can take that mortgage And guess what? When you have a mortgage on it and you take it over subject to, do you think you can sell it for a higher amount? You got built-in money into that. Buyers, cash buyers love that stuff. Guys, creative financing, if there is a mortgage in place, it is an easy pitch. Not everybody goes for it, but there is no recourse. When the person dies, the mortgage is only, it's leaned against the house, but the note is personally signed against the deceased. They can only chase the deceased down. Go ahead, Ace.
What if all that is true, but the house needs a lot of work?
You have to make that decision, and sometimes you can't overcome that fact. And sometimes they just need to be cashed out, and when it needs massive amount of work, 50, 100 grand. But think, you guys, the cost of money, hard money right now is approaching 14, 15, 16% with a lot of points. If you can take it over and even give her, I just gave her a $50,000 mortgage a few months ago. People love that because money is hard to get right now. It's expensive, very expensive, and it's not going away for this year. Locks. Anybody know where I'm going with locks? So many times I hear it go, well, I tell you what, I love what you're saying, Rick. I'll be down in 3 weeks, and when I get the key, I'll let you in. Oh, no, 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 no. Don't do that. Don't do that. Be creative. So, Mr. I tell you what, I don't want you to have to go through that inconvenience. What if I just go ahead, I have a friend of mine is a locksmith, he'll come out there, I'll pay for it, I'll switch the lock, I'll put a lockbox on there, and you can have access to the property anytime you want. In fact, I'll even mail you a copy of the key. Oh, you do that for me? Yeah, can you just send me a quick text or an email, and I'll take care of that for you. What does that do when you do that? If the seller goes, that's great, I just saved myself 3 weeks, I eliminated my competition, and guess who has control of that property now? I do. What's the average cost? $50 to $75, guys. It's not complicated. And I pretty much guaranteed I'm the only person who's ever going to walk that property again. Also, in 3 weeks, a lot of bad things can happen waiting for him. Here's another one. Well, my uncle has the key. I'll have him give you a call. So how would you respond to that, Alex? You're going to get in that situation, go, damn it, I found a probate. This is exactly what Rick told me. 3 weeks, what am I going to do? So how do you do it? What do you say?
You do it. We wouldn't be able to go the same route that you just went and paying for to have locks changed, put a lockbox on it.
She says, no, no, I prefer you go through my uncle. He's one hell of a guy, dude. You got to meet him. How would you solve it?
Is he in town? Can I meet him today?
I'll just have him call you. Is that okay?
I can call him right now. We can do a three-way.
Is it okay if I have him call you?
We can call together. I mean, I need an introduction.
His name's John.
Oh, that's my son's name.
Oh, okay. Do you mind if I have John call you?
We can all call right now.
It's good. Just ask for the phone number.
Okay.
What's John's phone number?
Yeah.
Don't wait. John will never call you, by the way. I've been there. John will never call you. He's never going to call you. Get aggressive. And then when John doesn't do it, she goes, you know, he is a flake. He's crap. Let's just do the locksmith thing. Don't wait, guys. You will lose the deal every time. I said, oh, God, 3 weeks is going to be great. And you find out, yeah, I put under contract. This guy called me 2 days later. His name's Luca, and he was very helpful. Damn it. You got to understand that. Property maintenance. A lot of times, guys, just go by. I go, listen, I went by the property. The grass is really high. She goes, yeah, it's just not a concern right now. What do you do when you get high grass? You got like a really good deal. It's going to work. You're about to put it on contract. What can you do if somebody's got high grass? Anybody? How much is that going to cost you, really? $25 to $50, $75, depending on what market you're on. It goes a long way. I've cut so many damn lawns, and I got a kid that cuts lawns for me all the time. I used to be that kid that cut that lawn, man. That was my entrepreneurial spirit when I was a teenager. Do it, guys. It goes a long way. And show them a picture and go, listen, I just saved you a major code violation. What are we meeting next Tuesday, right? Just little things like that. You're not taking tremendous risk. You guys spend marketing money. Like, don't overthink about this. And the last thing is creating property income. Sometimes while you're waiting for a probate, especially a complicated one, intestate, and the property's vacant, long as you have the right paperwork, and I'm not going to get into detail on the paperwork right now, anybody can ask me, you can rent the property out and let the renter pay for the legal fees. I do this all the time. I've had properties go through probate 4 years. Why let a good property sit? If they're trashed and they're in bad shape, no, don't fix them up, don't do any of that stuff. But we see some that are in great shape all the time. Long as you have permission and you have the authority, and with rents are the way they are now, you can get some serious income. I've had one, I've collected rents for 3.5 years. It's $1,200 a month. The market rate's $2,000. I just cut a deal because everybody works. And I give the PR a cut of the money too. You can have an agreement with it. You're basically doing like a property maintenance agreement. No, you don't need a special license for it. You can't get one, but they're kind of worthless. So let's talk quickly about the probate marketing cycle because I want to get into the conversation. So we talked about your USP. Guys, when you print these probate letters, just do them at home. You are not going to go to a third-party printer to do this. They are not going to do 15 pieces of marketing. I give you the template. Everybody has it. You can go online and get it with us through Flip with Rick. Do not complicate this. If you don't know how to do a mail merge, just go on YouTube. If you have iOS or you have an Android, Android's much easier. I'll give you a little hint right now. And you can go through a typical Microsoft product and do it. Yes?
So remember I was telling you that I found out yesterday, so Microsoft Apple don't like that.
Yeah.
So they were telling me to try Google Sheets and Google Doc to mail merge.
I mean, I've switched over to using, a lot of our slide present, we just go through Google Slides because it's just easier. Because Zach can work on it, I can share it with you, and we all can work on the same file without downloading, reloading, and sending it. They do make it easier, but a lot of these companies intermingle. I don't get in the mix of it, but I used to be an Android user for a long time until my family strong-armed me and made me do an iPhone because I couldn't. Everyone wanted to FaceTime with me, and I don't know about that decision yet. They track you. Where are you? Honey, I'm right around the corner. No, you're not. You're still over at the tackle shop. I go, I'm coming. I said I'm around the corner of the tackle shop. You didn't let me finish. So listen, I don't complicate the marketing. It's like one letter. That's your bare minimum. Do you understand that? And probate, you can't sit there and send letter after letter. It's not going to change their mind. I've tried this. Now, I will do a follow-up letter, but I'm a little bit all over it. One follow-up letter, and you have to change the ad copy a little bit to try to incite action. Letters, I'd never said postcards. Postcards don't work. I tried it. It sounds great. It doesn't work. Nathan, do you do any type of marketing with direct mail for probates?
Yeah, that's specifically what I do.
You do a letter? Yeah. Okay. So it just letters work, guys. It's not just me. He's telling you, everyone I've worked with the country, letters just work. That blue ink, phenomenal. Do you use blue ink do you sign on your letters?
Well, it's printed, but it is a blue ink.
Yeah. So, and guys, the beautiful thing about probates, they're not overwhelming. It's not hard to do. So you can do cold calling. I was adamantly against this. I call it warm calling. My son introduced it and said, listen, if we don't start cold calling, you can't help out as many people. I'm like, damn, that kid's smart. So what I was adamantly against, I go, if we can help out more people and fine. I go, you get your butt chewed out. And he's like, yeah, no problem. It's the McDonald's Burger King approach, or what we call here in Texas the Whataburger versus In-N-Out Burger. I know why they call it In-N-Out Burger, by the way. Okay. Skip trace to the PR.
The season's all over again.
And now it's more California.
The warm calling, is that following up to the letter, or that's an additional?
So you're using the McDonald's Burger King approach. Some people are like, how dare you send me a letter? This is very offensive. And then you call them and go, I'm so glad I got the call. I got to figure out how to sell this house. I'm like, who are you? Now, one little tip, if you do that, if you have the ability, so I would use my name on the letter because I'm old, and my son would be the cold caller. And here's a little clue. I don't like anybody lying to anybody because it gets you in trouble quick. So you can use your middle name, though. That's not lying. That's part of your name. So I'm not going to share everyone's middle name, but you can use your middle name and get away with it just fine. If you do the same one, you could get busted, and it could kill your whole deal. Ask me how I know that one. By the way, I don't tell you to put big corporation logos on it because people want to talk to people. They want to know you have a heart. And for God's sakes, when they call you on a letter, answer the phone. Have someone, a representative, somebody in there, and they're, how do I answer the phone? Let me ask this. How would you answer the phone if somebody calls you? How would you answer it?
Hi.
There you go. Hi, hello, simple. They want to know it's a human being, okay? We skip trace the PR. We've talked about that. No dialers, just dial. This is a very simple method, guys. So Calls 1 through 3, do not leave a voicemail. You have to make them curious. If you leave a voice, this is Rick, and I'm looking to buy your house, all cash, quick close. And by the way, did you know I could close it before the probate's complete? There's no reason for them to call you back. Hey, so I'm going to call after the third one, then remember, we don't want to look like a stalker. Some of you guys stalk, and you got to stop it. You got to think like a human. When my wife calls me 3 times, I know there's a major problem, right? I'm like, oh crap, okay, I'm going to stop. And then when you call me like, why'd you just call me 3 times in a row? Oh, I got you on the phone. It's not. You didn't trick them. You literally just closed yourself off from the deal. If someone calls you 3 times, do you assume it's an emergency or an idiot, right? You got to make a choice which it is. Don't be the idiot. And then what happens is once I go through one letter, the cold call, and maybe a follow-up, I throw them in my mailings. Now, how you do your mailings is up to you. I just throw them in a We Buy Houses postcard. I call it a catch-all. That's all you got to do. It's a simple marketing process for this. Did everybody understand this? It's straightforward. It's not complicated. And the beautiful thing about probates is you can work a full-time job. You can do 2 full-time jobs and do this. People are calling you. You just got to find someone to answer the phones. If you're not available and you're working, train someone you really trust. And they better understand. All you got to do is answer the phone. So real quick, key probate phrases you need to listen for when you're, I'm going to go through this quick because I'm going to get to the conversation part. So when I hear this and I'm talking to the seller is, I need to get rid of, sell quick, fast, needs updating, please no realtors. My favorite one, sell as is, do I have to wait? I mean, guys, like, listen, remember, what do I tell you in probate? What's 80% of the game? See who listens to me online. You have to listen. If you can't listen, if you're so busy talking or you're waiting for your turn to talk, you're not going to do well in probates. All these words, it's a headache, do I have to wait, it's expensive upkeep. These are signs of a great deal. These are people you want to go deep with. When they just want to talk about price, as tempting as it is, don't give it to them. Let me ask you, we teach you in wholesaling, you're like, hey Rick, what's your offer, what's your offer, what's your offer? I'm like, dude, let me ask you, ever bought a car? Yeah. Would you buy it without test driving it? No. Well, why are you asking me to do it? Okay, do you mind if I ask you a few questions to see if I can get you the best offer possible? Yeah, that's fair. Don't fall for it. Don't make the offer. It makes no sense. Okay, let's talk about the conversation, the best part. Rules. First contact. This is important, guys. You have to get this. You got to be a good listener. We just talked about this. 80-20. If you're not a good listener, I'm talking to the men now, go find a woman, either you're married to, a sister, a niece, and just say, listen, tell me all your problems, and listen for 30 minutes and don't say a word. If you can do that, you will be one hell of a probate person. It takes that. Us men tend to overtalk. We shut people out, and we're waiting for our turn to talk. When I say you listen, you truly have to listen to people, because you're going to have to anchor the most important part of the conversation. Remember when you talk to the PR first, and you go, what do you want to accomplish? Like, what do you want? How good does it feel when people go, listen, no, honestly, how good, like, how are you feeling? How are you doing? When people go, no, no, no. Yeah, I'm fine, I'm good. When people go, no, no, how are you doing? You sit down with them and go, listen, tell me what's going on. Something's not right here. That's the same type of connection you got to make in probates. Do you understand that? So be a good listener. If you're not, you're going to have to train yourself. And some of us are at a disadvantage. I'm ADHD. I'm always trying to think 3 sentences ahead. And I have to teach myself to slow down. So when I meet with someone in probates, I'm like not a different person. I turn on my listening skills very carefully, because if I don't listen, it's going to cost me a lot of money. And I'm going to waste my time. Survive the stranger danger the first minute. Do you guys understand this one? Who are you? Why are you calling me? It's coming. Expect it, prepare for it, and work through it. We teach you techniques all at Free Wholesaling on how to play with people's words and how to have fun and just be light and entertaining. You can't just be, I don't know, I went over to the probate court and I got like, you can't get defensive. You go like, so I'm just calling about the house on 123 US Street, see if you had an interest in selling it. Very simple, non-confrontational. I'm not, oh, I heard your husband died. Like, can I suck it up for 50 cents on the dollar? You all want to say that, but you can't say that. That's the truth of the matter. Stranger, if you can survive the first minute, you will know. There's some people that are just stuck on price, and it's okay. You can move on, you'll survive. We are not looking for those types of houses. Ford, everybody knows what that stands for. This is a standard. This is not a sales technique. This is just understanding people. If you don't know how to connect with people, Ford, family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. Just talk to people about this. If you can get them off real estate, sooner than later, you will do very well in probates. If you just sit there and go through all the analytics of the house, you're going to get killed. You have to get an emotional response. How do you get an emotional response? You become a good listener and you let them talk. The more they talk. Here's a little key. If you do yes, no questions in your qualifying thing, you're going to get, it's hard. Yes, no. I do it all the time when people have a conversation with people. Stop being a robot. This is where you got to just draw out the motivation. And you can find out early in a probate if they want to work with you. Remember those key phrases I showed you before? That's going to help you out do it. But you have to have a conversation, not yes, no answers. Mirror your prospect. A lot of you guys skip this. Here's the thing is, most probates, you only have a shot over the phone with them. It's not a door knocking for obvious reasons. This is where if you don't listen, if they talk loud and obnoxious, you got to match it. It feels wildly uncomfortable. And if they're soft and quiet, you got to be slow and quiet. You guys think you can only do that in person. You have to be even better at this on the phone when you do it. Do you understand that? Mirroring is just your voice inflection. When I get in front of a person, then if she's sitting down, I sit down. A mirror is a mirror. Put a mirror in front of you, that's how it works. Convert to a conversation. You understand that? When you get into qualifying, it's okay in probates when you're going through a qualification. Hey, tell me a little bit of the house and the condition. Well, it's got this white porch, but you know, we took care of grandma, it crumbled down, and my husband fell and he sliced his leg open. I go, oh my God, how's he doing? Is he okay? And you suddenly, you get off topic. You're okay to do that in probate. That's what you want to do. Is he okay? He says, yeah, he's an idiot. You know how men are. You know, and you just kind of keep going like that. You need to do that technique. It is not uncommon when I have someone saying all the right things to spend 30 to 45 minutes on the phone with them. You all are in the condition of like, let's get through it. It's cold call. I got to disqualify everyone. It's the opposite in probates. Listen, if they're not qualified, you'll be done in the first 5-10 minutes. I don't waste time. If you want to tell it for top dollar, I'll refer you to a realtor or I wish you the best. If something changes, give me a call. Okay, this is just like my pet peeve. You cannot go over price on the first phone call. Why? Because every other wholesaler, every realtor wants to price it out right there. You are going to focus on the individual and what they want to accomplish. Once you get that anchor, it is always your route. And when they get off cause, and they will, I go just like this. They go, Rick, you know, we thought about it. I think we need like, we need to go up on the price. Susie, I would love to go up on the price. But remember what we talked about before. You wanted a seamless transaction. You didn't want to go back in the house. You want us to help you out with the estate sale. And you want me to sell this prior to the probate that's doing it. So she goes, well, I talked to this other wholesaler. I go, do you think they can do all that? She goes, they didn't really say. I go, listen, I'm not going to give you the highest offer, but I'm going to be your best offer. And I tell every one of them that. Most people in probate, either they want to sell it purely for price, and those aren't our buyers. Those are not our sellers. But most people want certainty in their life. Who likes certainty here? Okay, you're going to have to leave this room because wholesaling is not certainty. It's the complete opposite. And it's a good thing because you get unlimited potential to do it. But most people I deal with in probate, the number one problem I solve for them is certainty. Everybody get that? People like to have stuff done. They want to know there's an outcome and it's done, right? So quickly, the conversation. 2 to 4 follow-up conversations. Engage the conversation as a friend versus foe. No matter how bad they chew you out in a probate, and God knows they will, just smile and go, I'm so sorry to hear that. What can I do for you? If you just ask people that, nobody asks that anymore, and especially when someone passes away, it's absolutely heartbreaking. But remember, you don't know if someone passed away 5 years ago or 5 days ago. On average, when someone files a probate, it's 30 to 90 days after they've died. So if you guys are like, oh, I'm so scared because it's so quick. If you're chasing the obituaries, you're going to have that problem. I'm not a big fan of that. Once they file it, they're ready to move forward and get on with their life. It doesn't mean they're emotionally over it. Does everybody understand that? Follow-up questions. It's critical you just keep following up with questions. Here's a little strategy I use. When I have probates and I'm not getting anywhere with them, but I know that property like needs help, I just call. I ask stupid questions I already know the answer to. We do this with kids, you can do it with adults too. The simpler you make this business. Let me give you an example. I know exactly how many bedrooms that house is. It's in my Podio file. Hey John, I forgot, how many bedrooms is that house again? He goes, it's 3. I go, yeah, you know, that's what I thought it was. Hey John, well, I got you on the phone. How are you doing, man? Like, are you everything okay? Did you get the estate sale going? I start trying to talk about other things in real estate. I try to get them open up and talk to them, because guess what? The follow-up questions is where the real secret is, because you don't have that stranger danger conversation, right? Oh, it's hey Rick, how you doing? They're open from minute 1. That first conversation, you spent your whole time just trying to get past stranger danger. And that's all I want you to survive. That's why you don't attack price, because every other wholesaler realtor attacks price on the first one. Once you go through the qualifications, you'll know quickly if you're going to be a good fit for that property or not. If it's perfect, they want high price, go, listen, I wish you the best. I have a great realtor I work with. Would you want to list the property? They go, no, I don't want to list the property. I'm like, oh, even better. Follow-up questions is really where you make it. Focus on progressing your conversation towards an offer. Remember, I'm always, in all wholesale deals, we're always progressing them. If you're not making progress, you have to push. It doesn't mean be arrogant, hey, you need to make a decision right now. You just got to find ways. When I have someone I'm making no progress, I've made 2 or 3 phone calls, take a risk. Take a risk. Now in probates, I don't take major risk. I said, listen, listen, if you don't want me as the buyer, just let me know. I want to help you out. I know I can help you get through this probate before it's done. And you told me you wanted to get it done in 3 months, but it's like it's been a month. Has something changed? Sometimes I say things like that. Have I upset you? Do I piss you off? Do something to change the conversation, to jar it, make it loose. You ever been distracted? I learned this from Tony Robbins. I didn't figure this out on my own. You ever want to loosen up a conversation, ask a crazy question and catch people off guard? You ever done that? It works. What if I told you this, just to wake you up? What if I told you something crazy I do when I don't do wholesaling? And a lot of people laugh when I do this, but like if I answer a question, someone's got to answer it back. So who wants to be a brave volunteer here? This is good. Okay. So I'm terrible with names. Alex, what do you like to do that nobody else really knows you like to do? And it's a little bit embarrassing, but you do love it.
Ooh.
Don't think, just give it.
I have to think, I don't know.
Okay, I'm going to the next one. You.
Pedicures.
See? Hey, my wife kind of laughs at me when we go into like stores with like scented candles. I just sit there and smell every candle, and I make terrible noises. And she's like, "The hell's wrong with you?" I go, "I don't know. I just like scented candles." I like to watch musicals with my daughter. It's weird, but like, if you ever want to jar something up, I just say, listen, I like to watch musicals. What do you like to do? And you change, you get a laugh, you get people, you break their thought pattern because they're trying so hard to figure out what you're doing. You go, listen, what do you like to do? Like, what's a weird thing you like to do? I'll give you an example. You know, I like scented candles. And me and my daughter goes, don't get dad near the scented candles. Because I make weird noise like, oh, God, it smells so good. But jar people, shake them up, do strange things. If you've ever been to what Tony Robbins is Unleashed Power, he does some crazy stuff to confront you if you're stuck and you're trying to think too hard. He's going to give you something to kind of embarrass you and make you chuckle. Use it on your clients. It works. Accent commonalities. It's very easy today. Most people are family-oriented, stuff like that. You can figure it out real quick. People are very proud and egotistical about their family. That's the one time you can let your ego grow. So usually with their jobs, stay away from politics, religion. You're not going to get anywhere with it. I'm on team what gets this house sold, right? And that's the team you need to be on. Reinforce the PR wishes. When things start to go south, if you're a good listener, go, listen, Sue, remember, and I put this in all my notes and I train everybody I work with, what did they want on that first conversation or the second? And just anchor it in, because that's truly, they gave you the truth. And what happens, they start talking to neighbors, they start talking to realtors, they start talking to lawyers, and all of a sudden people start whispering in your ears, and they're not doing what they truly want to do. Have you ever had somebody steer you wrong? Like, this is what I want to do, but my mom, my dad told me to do this, and you start to try to do and please other people, it will make you miserable. It's the same thing with your PRs. You've got to help your sellers get out of their own way. Start working on solutions for the PR. This is the secret to probates. This is the exercise I've gone through with you guys. You've got to provide solutions. If they go, hey, listen, you have an idea, and you go, I have no idea what to do. You're not providing value, and they're going to move past you. But here's the good news, you can prepare at any time. I've gone 21 years. I've had just about everything thrown at me. I still get some newbies, and I share it with you guys. If you will prepare for the inevitable when these things come up, and you have a great response to people, you have a choice. You can go, you can look up. You can also work with us at Flip with Rick Plus and go, listen, my partner's, he is perfect on this. I tell you what, give me an hour and I'll give you an exact answer to that. Now, I'm not accessible like phone 24/7, but if you're going to do a follow-up, don't ever lie to someone. That's my rule, because if you lie, you can't memorize. You ever have people lie to you? Like the lies get so out of control, you can't figure out, like, if you tell the truth, you don't have to worry about it. If you don't know the answer, it's okay. The solutions, that's the easy part, guys. It's a math problem 9 times out of 10. Everybody understand that? And listen, whenever you end up with anybody on any wholesale deal, I don't care if it's probates or not, have a call to action. A simple call to action is, you want to go ahead and move forward today? You want me to go ahead and send over those documents? Or do you want me to swing by this afternoon? We'll go ahead and get things done. Either they're going to move forward with you or they're going to give you an objection. You've got to get one or the other. Remember, your job is to progress all leads down a funnel. Remember, you are a guide. You are not a salesman. You need to just keep working them down the lane. It's simple as that. So I'm going to make this real quick here because we're running out of time here. But so the final call, review the property facts, allow the PR to invoke emotion. You're going to get a lot, if you do good in probates and people cry. Nathan, do people cry when they talk to you? It means you're doing your job. It means you're helping them out. It's brutal, man. If you've ever been through this, and you all will be at some point, if you don't have emotions with this, you're not human. And if you're not human, I'm probably not going to work with you very well. Confirm personal conversation connection. Ask PR what they need to get to move on. So people go, I don't say, hey, what price do you need for this house, little lady? I don't do that. What do you need to get to move on? That's the truth of the matter. What do you need to get to move on? If it's strictly about price, they're going to go to a realtor and list it and go through the song and dance. As I said before, reinforce the PR's original wishes. And for God's sakes, honor the person that died there. How do you do that? You talk about them. Remember, we're talking about properties. PRs are talking about homes. Hey, John sat in this chair. John used to watch his favorite show. You'll hear it. And if they go on an hour, I'm fine with it. But like, if you've ever been there, it's hard to part with their stuff. So I've even bought houses with their stuff in it. Can you just give me 30 days to get the stuff out? It gets a little tricky. If I get a great deal, I'll make it work. But sooner or later, you have to make a decision on this. So if you honor the family, you separate yourself from everybody else. Would you agree, Nathan, when they say, listen, this was a great man, he served in the military. I go, please tell me more. I remember me and Zach went through an entire house, and we buried at the bottom is a full decorated, what was it? It was a Marine, full of badges and everything. And one of the family members just throw it away. I go, we're not doing that. I don't throw away American flags. I don't throw away military stuff because I believe karma comes back to you. You got to honor, there's a story behind this person. I said, listen, can you tell me the story? So one of the ladies of the family, they came over for an hour and a half and told us the story. Deal was done by then. She's, I can't believe you say this. Family photos, a huge one. Don't throw them away. Put them in a box, give it to the family. There's always crap in the attic, the garage, everything else. I've had people in houses 30, 40, 50 years. It's insane how much stuff builds up in the house when you do it. Honor them. Rehook them with the USP. When they lose sight of it, most people want certainty and they want it done quicker. Time is money, guys. If it takes a year to do a probate and you got a mortgage payment, you got insurance and property taxes, it could be the difference of $20,000 to $40,000. If you can get it done before the other wholesaler or the realtor, you just saved them. That could be your discount on the house because they get certainty. Make the final offer and mirror the PR. Guys, any questions? We're going on this. I can go on all day, but what I want you guys to do is understand this. The PPS, it's all in the coursework, but you got to go through the basics of it. That playbook I gave you today is, most people don't understand it. Like, okay, who's on offense, who's on defense? If you think the lawyer's on offense, you're going to get killed. And if you think the title company is an unbiased referee, you're going to get hurt. You've got to understand the playbook. Remember, you have to figure out solutions, and you got to have great conversations with people. You've got, listen, this is about going very narrow and very deep. And here's the reality, most of the people you talk to won't be a good fit, but when you find the one, go deep as you humanly possibly can. So, any questions on probate? And by the way, this is above the basics of what I normally teach. So if you're missing, you go, wait a minute, I'm missing some serious stuff here, Rick. Go into the coursework, it's all there. And I only make it available to you guys because I signed an agreement a long time ago, and I'm never gonna let somebody buy that course. So I build it in my framework and I give it away to you guys. So go ahead, Sebastian.
Two questions. So how long do you wait after the letter goes out that you make the more call?
Right away. Right? I mean, speed kills in probates. I know it's a terrible saying, but it's the truth. Whoever gets to the PR first has a competitive advantage. By nature, people are just loyal to whoever connects with them first. I go, well, this guy Rick called me, and he told me not to talk to anybody else until we can figure out an agreement.
So, like, if you're a solo guy, how would you? So, if you let's say you sent out the letter, would you call them that same night? Like, you obviously they haven't gotten the letter yet.
So, which is going to get there faster, the phone call or the letter?
Well, the call.
Yeah. So, so the letter is just, some people are slower and they respect that more, and some will take the phone call. The phone call, the minute the PR is, you can make the call. It's not complicated. It's 10 or 12 leads, just pick up the phone and call, dial.
If you had a good conversation with them, are you not worried that, like, since your name is also on that letter, that they might feel?
I just send a letter as a backup for you. That's it. Like, explain, it's truly a backup, but the mail's going to take longer. Some people like it. Sometimes they call you 3 or 4 months after they sort through. It's common for them to sort through personal affairs in the house, and they like the patience. They'll put it in their pocketbook, and they just take their time with it. Either way, it's a McDonald's, Burger King approach.
Okay. And then the other question is, so you mentioned you'll, like, on calls 1, 2, 3, jump to voicemail. Are you just like double, triple dialing them? Like, are you?
Listen, 1 call a day. That's the rule in probate. You're going to look like a stalker. We don't want to deal with stalkers. You're going to discount yourself immediately. You can't be a robot. You got to be a human being. So, like, it gets a little weird. Some people like to change phone numbers. I wouldn't do that. And maybe you switch over to a Google Voice for the last one and leave a voicemail. So, like, yeah, I know that idiot keeps calling you. I just leave a voicemail. Sometimes you just got to switch up. Remember, the name of the game is just connect with them. If you leave a voicemail, how many times do you have a marketer leave you a voicemail? You're like, pfft. I don't know about you guys, but on my phone, like, I get a ridiculous amount of messages, and thank God somebody else handles my phone. But I get a transcription emailed to me. I'm just like, I look through the 22 phone calls. I'm like, that's the only guy I'm calling back because, number one, I know him and we're going to do business together. Most of them are solicitations, and they're going to leave it. I'm just tired of switching my phone number. Like, I give up. People have ruined it in our business. Yes?
Is the fiduciary the same as the PR? I think I'm saying it right.
Say it again?
Fiduciary or something like that? That's how it's called in my state. I don't see the term PR.
So PR stands for personal representative or executor, is what is on most legal documents. As I said, here's the challenge, guys. There's 3,200 counties in this country. And at one point, me and Zach put out one for each county. We about killed ourselves. And within a year, it outdates its entire self in the process. So if you go through the PPS system, I tell you, you got to read the rules of the game. You cannot, if you ever play Monopoly, less than 10% of the people ever read the rules to Monopoly. You just make assumptions based on how you played with your parents. And if you get someone who studies the rules and goes and plays in leagues, which they actually do this stuff, you will be annihilated. It's just like chess. It's the same thing. You got to know the rules and the terminology. The problem is I would have to give up everything else I do to do that. So find the rules, find the definitions, use your probate courts, use your title company, and if you had to connect with a probate lawyer through a connection, that's how I would do it. You don't have to pay to do it. And guys, if you go to your probate courts, you guys pay for it with your tax dollars. They will answer most of your questions. That's how I figured out probates. Any other, listen, we're going to be here for another day, so we're going to answer as many questions. Guys, do probates. They can change your life. I've done over 10 deals that were 6 figures on a single family house. That's $1 million just on probates. And keep in mind, my first 8 years of wholesaling, I never targeted probates. Why? Because I let my psychic, that's like ambulance chasing mode. And then I started doing by accident, doing driving for dollars. We're going to bring up Deal Machine. They'll help you, how to do this. But that was one of my #1 lead sources. We find old abandoned houses and nobody wanted to pay for the probate because they thought it was $10,000. How much of a hero if you give a family like $80,000 or $100,000 and they go, we're just going to live here until they take it away from us. You can change people's lives. You just got to figure out how to talk to people and how to honor them. This is a process you go through. Here's a good thing. If you know nothing about probates, you just got to learn how to market to them, how to connect with them, and how to talk to them. The rest will reveal itself because you'll figure it out real quick when you got a deal on the line. But you've got to figure out how to problem solve quickly because let me ask you, most probates I deal with, they have a problem, a unique problem that nobody else can solve. When you are prepared for it, amazing things can happen. And that's the beauty of the Flip with Rick Plus community. If you don't have the answer, we'll help you out. But don't be sitting there talking, hey, I'm going to call this guy Rick right now. Let me DM real quick. I'm like, damn it, Rick, you're not answering me. It's been 5 minutes. I'm like, it's not designed for that. But if I know like day or two you're going to that appointment, let's talk about it. And then you can hop on the live and we'll just role play it. So if you guys maybe tonight or like tomorrow we do some role playing and sit down and sit there because these conversations are real. And remember, the more you are yourself, the better you're going to do. So last question, anything else?
Wait, does Florida have affidavit of heirship? So like in Texas, if they can prove that 20, 25 years the wife, they've been married and they've got two disinterested parties that come.
It gets complicated, so here's what I do. I first go to the title company, what are my shots?
Yeah.
So we do more of a quiet title side. It's more expensive and it takes a little bit more time, but I have multiple properties like that. Guys, I have properties I just control. I'll never get ownership of it because the title's so screwed up and it costs so much in court, but no one in the family is ever going to question it and we just rent them out. It happens all the time. You don't have to own everything to actually make money in real estate. And I've learned that when you got a really, really messy title and the family's like, listen, here's my rule. If I can give someone 15 grand or less and I can afford it, if you can afford it and you can get yourself paid back in less than a year and you think there's huge upside, go for it. What are you really risking? So if I give someone 10 grand for a property that she goes, it's such a train wreck, you'll never have ownership. And there are types of properties with that. Guess what? I can rent it out. How much on the average rent in my area? I get 6 grand up front. I've just eliminated my risk to $4,000 and within 3 months, I'm at ground zero. And then if they take the property away in 5 years from me, what do I care? I just made $40,000, $50,000 in rent. I'll still pay the taxes to keep everything legit. I'll take care of the basic needs of the property and the renter, and I usually keep it below market rates. Go, listen, we're doing a month to month. I don't know what's going to happen with it.
My husband just did a property like that, but it was with family, so it was easy to kind of take over.
Yeah.
With respect to the insurance, what happens there? That would be my question.
Well, so the biggest underlying factor on that is there a mortgage on it? Mortgages dictate and dominate the insurance, but you can get some weird policy. You can get all types of insurance policies. The question is how much do you want to pay? Long as they get their money and they know what it's used for, you just have to determine if it's a homesteaded type property or it's a rental income property. And if you ever dealt with vacant properties, talk to fix and flippers. They got to get special type insurance. They don't insure vacant properties for really more than like 30 days on average. So. Okay, anything else? I can take one more. Guys, I'm here. We can talk the whole time. What I want to do is, what's our plan going here? Okay, I'm going to bring up my son, Zachary. If you have any questions, but guys, go through the PPS. And if I go, man, this went over my head a little bit, understand the foundation. I gave you the playbook. And those advanced strategies, these are the ones I've collected really over the last 12 years of doing probates. And I am biased, but they are my absolute favorite ones because they are the easiest. And I know what you're thinking, if I'm a beginner, why would I do it? They are some of the best deals you can do as a beginner because all you have to do is talk to people, help them out, and you can buy yourself time. So a lot of you guys jumped in it, you don't have a cash buyer's list. Some properties can take 2 or 3 months, and if you need 6 months, you can do it. You can turn a probate into a wholesale without ever funding it. One of the best deals you can ever do. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you.